Alright, so I got another knife I'm going to do a quick review of. I've actually had this knife for a couple of years. I just decided to maybe make a little video about it. It's a fixed blade this time. It's my first fixed blade review, and it'll be quite short since there's a lot less features on a fixed blade than a folder to cover. But this knife is the Kingdom Armory Blackthorn, made by David Rydbaum from Oregon. He's really picked up in popularity quite recently with his folders. The Samaritan is the big one. He's done some collaborations with Triple Lot Design recently that came out, I think it was February. Amazing knife maker. Kind of started in the roots of kind of the hunting type, but not traditional hunting, but kind of a modern hunter. And this is one of his first fixed blades that he's produced. The Blackthorn comes in two varieties, the Blackthorn and the Blackthorn SD. The SD just has a shorter handle. Comes with a Krydex sheath with a tech lock. The knife itself, it's an excellent knife. I was looking for a skinner for hunting actually, and I wanted something different, something that had a lot of thought put into it. And I know David is a big hunter as well, and he's put a lot of thought into what he thought was a good skinning blade, and I contacted him, and this is what he sent me. So I got it straight from him. I think it was about 2 years ago. I have to look that up. But overall length, it's just over 9 inches, 9.9 inches overall. It's got quite a long handle, which I think is great for skinning, because it gives you lots of variety on where you can grab it, and different handle grips available depending on what you're doing. The cutting edge is 3.5 inches. It's hollow ground S30V, and he puts a very sharp edge. And it's not just about how sharp the edge is; it's how of an angle. So it had a very fine angle on the edge. I've actually sharpened it since because I skinned with it, so I've actually used it. Key things for the design: it's got a more pronounced drop in the nose. He has, you can see during the tip. So it's not too sharp on the tip, which is actually a pretty good thing to have on a skinner, and not too sharp of a point, because if you're skinning, especially if you're gutting, you don't want that tip poking in either through the fur, animal's coat, or into other things that you don't want to be cut. So having a somewhat of a blunter tip on a skinning knife is actually a pretty good thing to have. Overall, he's said it's a field utility knife that would be good for skinning and game processing. The key things about it that I really like is the handle. At first glance, someone who's used more traditional skinning knives, you would think that it's probably not that good, but it's actually what I'd find the perfect skinning blade handle, because you can grip it back. You can even grip it around the back here. If you're reaching around the back of an animal, say it's hanging from by the legs, and you're skinning and you're trying to get around the back strap, the very back of the animal, and you're reaching all the way around, and you can grip it all the way forward. And instead of jimping, what he's done in this blade is actually he has kind of like a thumb ramp. So if you're skinning and you're doing detail work, what you're doing is you're gripping all the way front and back depending on what you're doing, and it gives you a ton of control on the blade, and the hand without the handle really getting in the way. So it's kind of an interesting way to do it. Now, as a utility knife, it does have a long handle, so if you're carrying it on the hip, the handle does come up quite wide on the waist, which is why he designed the SD, because different people were complaining, people that were carrying it more on their waist. For me, I don't really find that as big of a deal, especially with the tech lock. You can make it handle down, handle up, horizontal carry, or just have it in a backpack, which is like what I usually do with this knife when I'm hunting. But it's an excellent knife. He has a kind of a cratered grip on this one, which is kind of common in a lot of his knives. It gives you excellent grip, with no issues when it's wet, especially when it's covered in animal, animal material, fat especially, which makes a lot of knives slippery when you're skinning with them. But this creates a lot of grip, and it's easy to clean. Other parts, it's Paul Boss heat treated, and the overall thickness is what I measured with micrometer is 0.92 inches. Some of his knives, he says, are 0.16, but I took this one measure, and it's a little bit thicker, at 0.192, but it has a nice hollow grind, which brings the edge to a very nice fine edge. So it's worth checking into if you're a hunter or an outdoorsman and want something that is designed for the hunter, but steps away from the traditional designs to something that's a little more modern, but at the same time is highly specific to hunting and skinning, and works excellently. So if you're interested, check one out. I'm pretty sure he still makes them. I'm not 100% sure, because he's doing a lot more folders these days. But he's still an excellent, amazing knife maker. He's really taken off in popularity, so I'm happy to have this now before the fact, so I got it before he took off, so my chances of getting one probably now would be a lot less than what they were, but I still think he's still making them. If you have any questions, contact me or take a look at his website. You can just Google KingdomArmory.com or take a look throughout the different web forums.